So you come out here, and is this where you think about stuff?
No, mostly I'm on the phone.
Seriously? Speaker Nancy Pelosi is all business, whether it's on her morning walk along the Potomac.
This is the Speaker's balcony, which has one of the most spectacular views of Washington, D.C.
Or showing off the private balcony outside her Capitol office. Do you ever let yourself relax and just do nothing? Loaf a little?
It sounds like a good idea. I think I may take that up, but not until after the election.
Pelosi has good reason to worry about this election.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
As the irresistible force who marshaled House Democrats to pass controversial administration policies, including the stimulus package, Wall Street reform, and health care, she's become a punching bag for Republicans.
California has Nancy Pelosi. We have Annie Custer. She supports Nancy Pelosi's big spending programs.
Debbie Halverson, she listens to Nancy Pelosi instead of us.
There's even a nationwide Fire Pelosi bus tour.
Now, how you like my bus?
Starring Republican Party Chairman Michael Steele.
Know that you have had a hand in firing Nancy Pelosi.
The chair of the Republican National Committee is driving around the country in a Fire Pelosi bus. How about that?
Who cares? I think we ought to get a tow truck and tow it away, just as we had to get a tow truck to pull the economy of our country out of the ditch that the Republicans drove us into.
In the course of this year, we will have created more jobs this year, 2010, than in the entire Bush administration of 8 years.
Pelosi's support for a middle-class tax cut, children's issues, and education has made her a hero in some quarters.
Nothing has been more wholesome for the political process and for government than the increased participation of women.
But a lot of people really don't like her, seeing her as a free-spending San Francisco liberal. Start with those who showed up at the bus.
Tax and spend liberal.
She's evil. She's evil.
I think she's probably the worst American leader since Benedict Arnold.
That's pretty harsh, but according to a recent CBS News poll, only 15% of Americans view her favorably, 44% unfavorably. And Pelosi is having trouble convincing voters that her party should stay in power. What's the message this time?
Well, the message this time is we're fighting for the middle class. We're going forward. We're moving America forward. We're not going back. And this is hard because we were in a deep ditch, and now we have to dig the country out.
But even some Democrats are running ads trying to distance themselves from her.
I don't work for Nancy Pelosi.
And voted against Nancy Pelosi's energy tax.
Like the Jason Altmaier is not afraid to stand up to the president.
And Nancy Pelosi.
Yet the speaker is unshakable. In the face of polls which, seem to show that the Democrats have some very serious problems, pundits predicting that the Democrats will surely lose control of the House, you get indignant when you hear that.
I don't get indignant. I just don't believe it.
Pelosi didn't get where she is by being meek. As the first woman Speaker of the House, she not only changed the political landscape, but also the furniture in the Speaker's office.
Before, it was a very dark place. Looked like a men's club. I guess there was a reason for that.
But she's well schooled in the workings of the men's club that once dominated American politics. Her father, Thomas D'Alessandro, was a member of Congress and mayor of Baltimore. At age 7, she held the Bible at his swearing-in.
My mother and father had 7 children. I was the youngest and the only girl, so there was that.
At 16, her dad took her to meet then-Senator John F. Kennedy.
I still have this dress, just because sloth pays off. I never threw some stuff away.
In fact, at age 70, Pelosi is a striking combination of both the new and old orders of American politics. She is the highest female elected official in U.S. history, second in the line of presidential succession behind the vice president. But though active in Democratic politics, she didn't run for office until she was 47 and her 5 children were grown. Married to her college sweetheart, wealthy businessman Paul Pelosi, she concentrated on honing her mothering skills.
So there was always coalition building to do around 5 kids. What do you want to eat? What movie do you want to see? What activity do you want to do?
According to her daughter Christine, it's all come in handy.
You know, there's always competing agendas and differences, even among children. So when you take that to politics.
Who knew that was training for being speaker, huh?
That's right. Multiple caucuses, multiple ideas and backgrounds and talents.
Nancy Pelosi says her most treasured job is not speaker, but grandmother of 8. She proudly shows off 2-year-old Isabella at a Washington event and says her political career is based on making life better for America's children. But the little ones keep her grounded, too.
I remember when I was sworn in as Speaker, we had a motorcycle escort to go to Mass first and then the swearing in. And my grandson, who was about 5 years old at the time, said, "This is great. This is what I want to be when I grow up." And his mother said, "You want to be Speaker of the House?" He said, "No, I want to be a motorcycle policeman."
The gentlelady from California, the Speaker of the House, Mrs. Pelosi.
Pelosi moved into the leadership after 14 years in Congress. But first, she had to break through what she calls the marble ceiling.
They were saying things like, "Who said she could run?" And it's like, "Oh, okay." And another one was, "Why don't you just tell us how you want things to be done and we'll incorporate some of those ideas." And I said, "Well, no, too late for that."
In the end, male members were won over by Pelosi's fundraising and campaign skills. Here's a startling number. Since 2002, she's raised more than $217 million for Democrats.
The House will come to order.
She's credited with bringing order and discipline to what can be an unruly Democratic side of the House. However, she does seem to be a lightning rod, criticized for everything from her designer suits to her authorized use of government planes.
Those in favor say aye.
But she says it's her effectiveness that rankles her critics. And even Michael Steele, a fellow Marylander, seems to agree.
Well, she's from Baltimore, so we know how to we know about effective leadership in the state of Maryland for sure. I just happen to disagree with the effectiveness of it, but no, she's been very effective at ramming through an agenda that the American people doesn't want.
He's talking, of course, about health care.
We took an idea that was very popular, and if we shoved it down anybody's throat, it was the insurance companies.
But it's been 6 months since it's passed,
yes,
and people haven't started to like it anymore.
It's about even now. I think the polls today show it about even, and when
you think
people
they'll like
see
it
the
more?
benefits, once they know.
There is, however, a certain irony in the fact that the health care plan Pelosi considers her crowning achievement could be her party's undoing in November. But true to form, Nancy Pelosi is having none of it. Don't you worry that maybe you could end up, instead of being one of the most famous speakers in history, to be just a footnote?
I'm not a footnote. I'm the first woman Speaker of the House, and we passed the most comprehensive health insurance reform. I didn't come here about me. I came here about policy and the issues, and I wouldn't, are you saying, would I rather not have passed the health care bill so I could keep this office? Never. Never.